Hey everybody, it's Kelly. Welcome back to the episode of Ask a Therapist. This week in our continuing theme of coming out, we're going to talk about what it's like to date someone who is not currently out and you are. Especially in light of some of the things we've been talking about recently about coming out later in life and realizing who you are and the different circumstances you might be in your life. This is a fairly common thing for people to be self-actualized and living your life as a queer person, and you are dating someone who is not in that same place or hasn't started to take those steps yet. The reason they haven't taken those steps yet is really neither here nor there. What I want to talk to you about is what it's like to be the person who finds themselves more undercover than they have been due to their partner and what you can do about that. Number one, super simple. We all need to remember that being out is not an all or nothing thing. The metaphor of coming out of the closet is so problematic for so many reasons, and so many of us, including me, do still use it. But one of the reasons it's so problematic is because it really gives the understanding that you're either in the closet or you're out, and there's no in between. People can be out with their family and not at work because they're concerned about the backlash that they could face professionally. People can be out with their friends and not with their family. Kind of for the same reason, right? There are differing degrees of someone telling the other people in their sphere the truth about themselves. And where that person is likely to impact where you as their partner feel like you fit. Number two, I would encourage you to know your limits and encourage open communication. Now, open communication does not mean assuming, right? So if you are in public with your partner and you go to reach for their hand and they jerk their hand away, the feelings that you have come up are your feelings to deal with. Yes, you should express them to your partner, but so often we put our assumption of what our partner means by taking their hand away and react to that assumption, right? If you're out in public somewhere and you go to take your partner's hand and they pull it away, the act itself is what you're discussing later. So later on when you're together and just the two of you in a safe environment, you need to bring it up to them if your feelings are hurt. If you are feeling strongly about it, you need to address it with them. But addressing it with them does not mean assigning meaning to it, right? So, hey, babe, that kind of hurt my feelings when that happened. Can you tell me what was going on in your head so that I understand where you were coming from? Or, hey, I'm so glad that you are taking your time and understanding who you are before you're announcing it to people. Also, when that happens and when you don't acknowledge our relationship, I end up feeling like you're ashamed of me or ashamed of us. Can we talk about that? Or you know your partner doesn't like PDAs. You know your partner's not going to refer to you as their partner when you're out. So, hey, I understand that this is a level that you're not comfortable with yet. When we're in private, I would really appreciate more reassurance and more verbal confirmation that you are attracted to me and you do want to be with me. Because we can't do that out in public and just randomly and naturally the way that so many other couples do. All of those things can be said that addresses everyone's needs, that affirms the fact that your partner has the right to make the decisions they want to about their life. Also, you have the right to make the decisions you want to about your life. And the biggest part of that is whether or not your partner's rules fit for you in life. Are you comfortable with the place that you're at right now and not having physical contact when you're out in public? Are you comfortable not being introduced as your partner's partner when you meet people? Are you comfortable not being part of their social scene because that's not where they're at yet? What you are comfortable with is your call. What your partner is comfortable with is their call. And the job of the relationship, the job of anyone in that relationship, is to make sure that those needs are addressed and that communication happens and that we're not assuming things. Typically, when we have strong feelings about the way a partner addresses us in public or does or doesn't engage in public displays of affection, it is really easy to interpret that as loss of interest in the relationship or loss of interest in you, or that you're convenient, or whatever other things that your brain and your history and probably your own relationship trauma brings up in your brain at that point. Don't visit that on your partner. It is all of our jobs to deal with our own baggage. When you're in a relationship, you can't not bump up against your partner's baggage, okay? It's not going to happen, but it's not yours to carry, and it's not your partner's job to carry your baggage. There's a difference between carrying and holding space for, right? So if you're in a relationship with someone and they have been cheated on multiple times, right? So they have a bit of a problem trusting. That isn't your fault I mean, I guess it's technically even not your problem, but it is important for you to hold space for that in that relationship. And this is what that looks like. It's where you do not have to stop talking to people or not have friends because your partner has been cheated on in the past. That would be ridiculous. What you do need to do is have conversations with them about their comfort level, what they need from you to help them to learn that they can trust their own instincts, that they can trust you, they can trust their relationship. Asking those questions is holding space for their pain, but not allowing it to dictate how you behave in your life. That goes across the board. It is absolutely necessary for us to hold space for our partners. It is not necessary for us to take on their baggage as our own, because then we're all just carrying the baggage instead of working through it. Number 3, no ultimatums. If you choose to be in a relationship with someone who is not open and out to everyone in their life, you are choosing to be in a relationship with that person. If you get in a relationship with someone and you realize that you can't actually abide by those rules, you can't live under that umbrella they've put you under because of where they're at in their journey, that's fair. That's okay. Then leave the relationship. For you to realize that about yourself or about your needs and then put that on them and give them an ultimatum, like you need to come out to your family by this time, you need to tell your friends by this time, I need to be able to be publicly recognized as your partner by any of those are unacceptable. There are so many people out there who have had traumatic experiences of being forced to tell their truth before they were ready. So many people have had someone else decide what they were going to do and when they were going to do it. That is not okay. And it's not okay to continue that cycle just because that, I don't know, maybe happened to you. People are allowed to have their own timelines. And you as a person are allowed to have your own needs. And you're allowed to walk away if you need to. Or you're allowed to say, hey, call me when you are out. I can't live this way anymore, but I do care about you. And I want you to have your space. Let's check in a couple of months. Like, that's fine too. But staying in a relationship and trying to change the other person is never appropriate. Let's just not do that. Number 4 goes hand in hand with this, and that's explain what you need. If you know that you are a person who needs regular physical touch and you're with someone who doesn't like to do physical touch out in public, is there a way that you can get that need met within the parameters that your partner has? And if so, talk that out or express that to them. Say, hey, I like that physical touch in public because it makes me feel connected. How else can we know we're connected and not do that? Because I don't want you out of your comfort zone there unless you're ready for that. There are so many ways to get your needs met if you communicate them. If you don't communicate them, how are you supposed to get them met? They're not going to be. Not the way you need them to, because you're in a partnership. You can meet your own needs the way you need to if you're by yourself. I mean that in every way that sounds. But if you're with a partner and you need your partner to meet certain needs for you, you need to tell them that. This last one needs to be done cautiously, but I do think it's important. I would really encourage your partner to seek support, whether it's a support group of people who aren't able to be completely honest about who they are in all areas of their life, whether it's therapy, so they can work through their own experiences and own their own truth in a way that frees them from the oppression of having to stay hidden. In this seeking of support piece, I would really encourage you to remember that there's an inherent power dynamic that exists in a relationship where one member is out and has been for a while and the other one is just telling people who they are, or maybe just coming to terms with who they are, understanding that for the first time. That power dynamic is important to keep an eye on. It's important to know that you cannot be their guide for this in every way. You can be their partner in it, but you can't be their guide. I hope that makes sense. That's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you all next time. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other.